Okay, when you're ready to start using your gouge and ready to begin your printmaking, you need to make sure you have your workspace set up properly. So the bench hook is shaped kind of like a Z because this part hooks onto the table. So this always needs to be back and attached, kind of hooking and pressing against the table. That way, as you are carving up towards the top of the bench hook, it helps to keep your printmaking block stabilized, and it keeps your hand safe from being hit by the gouge. The second thing that you need to prepare is your actual block. So since we're just practicing today, we're going to divide this in half. You're going to draw an organic shape, something with curves on the left-hand side, and you're going to color in your background. And then on the right-hand side, you are going to draw a geometric shape, so something with straight edges and angles. It could be a triangle, it could be a square, rectangle, that's up to you, but something with some straight edges. And then all you're going to color in this one is the inside shape of the shape. The reason that we're doing this is because anytime there is black on our printmaking block, that indicates to us that we are never going to be carving it away. Okay, so now at this point we're ready to get our gouge organized and ready to go. Most of you, in your gouge on the handle, there is a little cap. You just open that, and then that's where your blades are stored. Okay. Each blade is different. They come in all shapes and sizes. Some are very small and pointed, while others are a little bit wider. Okay. If you need an additional size blade, you just need to check with me and I can get you one. Okay. When you are looking at your blade, you have the end that is sharp. It is usually angled. You can also kind of see that it is slightly a different color. Excuse me while that refocuses. So you can see it's slightly a different color. And then the opposite end is rounded. Okay, that's the part that's going to go into your gouge handle. So I'm going to pick kind of a medium size V gouge. To loosen up your cap, you just need to turn it counterclockwise or to the left. If you happen to untwist it too much and it comes apart, it is not a big deal. Okay. The first thing you're going to want to do is put this so that the cone portion is pointed down, and then you can take these two pieces and you can put them back together. You can see this one has a sphere. It looks like a sphere on the end. There we go. Refocus. It looks like a sphere on the end with an attached half circle on the outside, and then the other piece fits right on that. Okay. Then you're going to take that and turn it over, point it down, press it into the cone, and then you can twist it back on. If you need help with that, you just need to let me know. Okay? Then you can see inside of here, we can still see the side on the right is the side that has the attached portion, and then the side on the left is open. That is where this rounded part is going to go. So we slide that in there, and then we take the top of this and we twist it clockwise or to the right, and that's going to make it nice and tight so that it's safe for us. The rest of your blades just go back into the handle until you're ready to use them. Alright, so now you're ready to use your gouge. Anytime that you are carving with your gouge, I always recommend going around the outside of the shape first before you start carving. And the reason for that is because when we carve, we end up making almost like a feathery texture on the edge where we stop carving. The only way to prevent that is to create almost like a little well, and that will be created by you outlining your shape. Okay? So when we start to use our gouge, we always want to make sure that our gouge is pointed towards the top of the bench hook. Never to the left, never to the right, and certainly never towards us. When we carve, we want to just barely have it tilted up and glide it across the surface. You're not digging with a shovel, so don't point it down like that. Okay? You will always keep your hand behind the blade so you can hold your linoleum if you'd like. You can hold the back of the bench hook, but you definitely never have your hand up here. Okay, so you hold, gently press, and then you can push, and it's going to start picking off the little pieces of linoleum. Okay? Your straight side is going to be a little bit easier, like that, and then you can see it'll pull up just a little bit of that linoleum. The side with curves is going to be a little bit more difficult. So since this has curves, you always, like I said, you want to make sure you're pointing up towards the top of the bench hook. So now I need to turn my block so that I'm continuing to always push up towards the top of the bench hook while maintaining that curve. Okay, so curves are a little bit more challenging, and we always put safety first, so we just have to make sure we're constantly turning our block, okay, before we start to push with our gouge. After you have outlined your shape, you can switch out to a larger gouge, a larger blade, so that you can carve out the rest of the space. Okay, you do just need to be mindful that you are not going inside of your shape. Again, anytime you nick or indent your linoleum, that mark is going to be there forever and ever and ever when you print. Okay? When you are not using your gouge, you need to make sure that you take the blade, replace it back into the handle. And the reason for that is because we don't want the blade still attached and sticking out when we put these back into our bags, because somebody could just grab the bag and accidentally hurt themselves. Okay?